I really like K-pop. Ooh, big surprise. No, not really. My chat has known for a long time that I used to live there a long time ago. And if you've ever been there, you can't escape music, okay? Talking about these sorts of things with my chat because K-pop is like so prevalent now in the West. Everyone knows a bit more about it. You know, we've had a lot of conversations and I thought it'd be really fun to learn incredible, important things about Korean, about the language. Well, you make sure you've subscribed with notifications on, please. It's time to learn with GEEGA. What's the deal with them killing the owl? What happened? Why did Duolingo murder the owl? I don't know anything about it. I just know there's a ton of people on Twitter being like, they killed him. And I'm like, oh. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna learn Korean today. I'm gonna start on basic because this is more for you guys than it is for me. Ooh. Nah, which number out of these? 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Hold on. Paint moment. I'm gonna give you a crash course and then you're gonna try to remember this, okay? Let's see if I remember even how to teach any of this. In Korean, the symbols are always within a square. Sometimes there are two things. There's a letter on the left and a letter on the right to make a syllable. Sometimes it's divided a little more like this, where it's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is the order you pronounce them in when it's making, and all of this is one syllable, right? Sometimes it's like this, and you do like 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, this circle just means you hold your mouth open before you say the next thing. So it's right? Yeah. This one would be like, ready? Nothing. This is no, and then and then this is kiok, which is like a in between a G or a K sound, like mostly a G. So this one shiot, which is kind of like their S, but when it's at the end, you just close, like as if you're about to say an S. You put your teeth together, you go tss, right, but without that sound. So it goes almost like a T. And then this isn't a real syllable here, but it's null, that kind of L sound, and a K sound. If you're getting like really slow with it, right? So that's how they generally do things for structure. That's why it's shaped the way it is. So that's the basis, right? Then when you start with null, everything you write starts with a consonant. So if it sounds like it starts with a vowel, you put null, you put the circle instead. So you've got a. If you put this letter, which is sort of like a G or a K called kiok, this is ka. You put this one, which is their version of an N, it is na, right? Because this to the left, just that's the vowel, right? All the vowels just look like a stick of some sort. Ko, no means you. It's like that. And you'll learn the vowels, but it starts with e, a, u, o. And then if you wanna get a little into the compound ones, there's like these two are different. We'll get into that. But basically it's just pronouncing the little sticks, all right? That's your very small basis on why these look the way they do. So you see they have three that are na, ga, and ko, and o. So we'll start with na. Na, it's this one. This is niin, is the name of the letter. Niin, obviously it's the N, right? Na. This one is ka. This one, o. Again, it starts with the circle, so you don't make a sound for the consonant. You just open your mouth, and then you make the little sounds. That goes to 5. What about this one? What do you think this is? Is this or ku? 3, yep. And then ku, right? Ku is just the u with kiok over it. Which one's Do you get how it works? So every set of symbols, actually didn't show you like stacked in the little chart, but you know, it's either like left, right, top, bottom, depending on the shape of it. One, yep. So its consonant is just null and then straight and a little forward. It's kind of easy to remember some of them because the way the language is written is it's shaped the way you say it. So imagine if a person's face is pointing to the right now. You're looking at someone's profile, their nose is this way, the back of their head's this way. If they were saying you'd think they're really saying something that pushes out, pushes forward, right? So this goes forward, the little stick goes And that's sort of how they made their languages. They tried to make the shapes represent sort of what your mouth is doing a little bit. Which one is na? Make the learning stop? No. You're gonna learn whether you like it or not. Did I want to say 7? It was close. That one was because of the circle, so it doesn't have a hard consonant. Na. Since that's na, ka should be similar, right? Which one is ka? 0. Ooh, what you said 6? Close. It also has a kiok. So this is the k sound, the G, right? Ga. That one's the other one. We'll get to it. Now, cool, yeah. 6. Then 5, is 7, obviously. This sounds like nah. You can do this on your own. You don't need me for this. Wait, he's alive. He's alive? What do you mean? They didn't kill him? Is he a zombie? I like the way they do this. They don't give you any lesson beforehand. They're showing 2 other vowels here. You haven't seen these yet. Straight line, E. No consonant, E. straight line with a little nub to the left. Oh, it's like UH, but they tend to spell it EO because it's rounder than that. It's not when you go like it's not that, it's oh. Shape your mouth like you're about to say O, but you just go oh. It's in between an O sound and an UH a little bit. So they write EO, oh. Okay, they have a cheat sheet. Wait, this is cute. So that's what I was showing you. Here are all the vowels, right? Ya, oh, ya. They're doing what I said, which is they spell it EO usually. O, yo. If you just take a vowel and put 2 lines in it, you just add a Y to it. O, you, and then Imagine you see something disgusting on the ground, you're like, ugh. It's without the part, it's that English speaker like, ugh, that's disgusting. The sound is very similar to this. So if you're saying Korean is 한국어를, that right there is that same sound. It's a little weird to pronounce, but that's what it is. I know they spell like an I, but it's pronounced E like 2 E's. Ye, and yeah. I know these sound really similar. This is almost like an AY, but not like A. Don't do the E at the end. A, but it's yeah, and yeah. This is more of an EH, where this is almost an EY, but I think an AE is a pretty good example of it. It's just a little, it's hard to hear the difference until you hear it a lot. And then sometimes you write, normally this would have a circle here, right? Or it could have any letter, but when I'm learning them, or teaching them rather, I typically put circles on all these. So this would be wa, wo. I would have put WEO here. Actually, I don't like that they put an O, but I would have said wo for that. So this is combining two. So it has O here, and then the next letter is A. O and A, which is wa. You just put them together. O, wo, o, we. Actually, if you said this word, if you put a circle there, we is how they say Y. It's like, why do you do this? We, like that. O, we. We. They sound really similar. They're not. This one, O, E, doesn't sound like this. If you put like an H in front of it, you'll hear like a lot of that. Hui is hui. It's still pronounced very similar to both of these. Hui, but it's a little E at the end. It's a little more sharp. This is we, exactly. U-E, we, and U-E, like Isa or Isa. You see they put NG? If you put it at the end of a syllable, for example, you do A, and then you put this circle on the bottom, it'd be ang, ing, eng, like that. This is an S, sa. There are times you pronounce it SH. One of the quirks. Sometimes you do, usually not. Sometimes you do. Da. They write it as an R, but it's not pronounced like it's in between. I think an L is actually a better letter for it, but it doesn't make a O sound. So if this were in order, ka, na, da, da. So a, da, 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 da is the sound. And then this is what I was saying before. So you see how ka has a version that is another letter? You just put more air out. So ka or ka, ta or ta, ja or cha. The difference between J and CH is literally how much air you're pushing out. So ja, cha, ba, pa. Okay, and then the tense consonants, I don't know how to explain them other than you just tense up a lot. So instead of saying ka, when you put 2 of them, ka. So the word to say, do it cleanly, is ke, kut, hage. It's 2 of these. Ke, kut, hage. And then it's warm. You use 2 of these. Instead of going ta, tut, he, you go ta, tut, he, ta, tut, he. That's it. To say follow me, tarawa, tara. It's like, it's just 2 Ds. You just more. That's the best way to describe it. This one is always an S sound when it's 2 of these. S. It's just sa instead of sa. And you tend to tense on the vowel a little, so it almost sounds like you're choking up a little as you like get into it. You don't hold the next vowel out very long because you're just putting all the force into the consonant part. Ooh, it's like the thing I drew. We got it from the same textbook. So you do 2 and then 1. So k, ah. Ah. Now you see the shape of the letter gets a little ooh. It's literally just a font thing. Some people will write it very straight like this, very right angled. A lot of the time when people are doing handwriting, you get more curves and things. Same. It has check and then continue. Do you know how to say check? Like for checking an answer, for checking if something's correct. It's a good one to learn if you're learning 확인. So it would look like, do the H, O, A, G. So H, O, A, G. That's just 확. And then in, so no consonant. In. 확인 is saying like to check something or to confirm. Confirm is a good word for that. So when you're talking to a teacher and you're like, can you check my work? You would use the word 확인. Stroke order tends to be left to right, top to bottom for a lot of things. Pretty much all of them. I'm 확인인. Yeah, I'm 확인인. Ma. Gee, I wonder what English letter this is. Wow, is it 1, 2, or 3? Yeah, it's 2. This one's easy. Why is Korean really easy to read? Because they made it easy to read on purpose. It was a very, very, very modern written language. It's one of the few languages that's been developed within the past couple hundred years. It was what? It was the 1400s? 1420s? I want to say it was early 1400s, but that's very, very like made within the last 1,000 years is a big deal. Made after like 1100, 1200 is a big deal. So compared to other languages, which tend to be older. All right, matching pairs. I think you guys can do this, but it's really easy because they're all right next to each other. They're all right next to each other. Yay. Is the bird actually dead? I keep seeing him and I'm starting to think, is he a ghost? Is this a zombified owl? I don't know. All right. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have pa, and tu. It's all. All is what they gave us. 안녕하세요. 어떻게 지냈어요? I've been good. You could 어떻게 지냈어요 is like, how have you been spending your time is a nice way to say it. How have things been going? It's a very like Google Translate way of saying it though. 어떻게 is like the closest direct translation is like what to do. But when you say 어떻게 something, it's like what have you been doing with blank? And then 지냈어요 is like have you been passing your time? Is a nice way to say it. But really people would say 잘, which means well or good. 잘 지내, which is comes from that last word that he wrote there. 잘 지냈어요? Question mark. 잘 지냈어요? Which means have you been well? Which one is 더? Have you seen this letter yet? I mean, you can do process of elimination. It's 3. Yeah. So this letter is 티귿 is, well, I'm saying like very T-like, but tí귿 is very much a D sound. This is 두, 더, 우. This is the one that looks like old Tibetan D. So if you write this one and then you put a little line coming out of it a little bit, it's like the same letter and it makes the same sound. So it's one of those things where they're like, oh. Remember the straight vertical stick a little to the left is 더. 더, this word, 더, is a full word. It means more. So when you say, give me something, you say the name of the thing, whatever it is, whatever the vocabulary word is. 주세요. 주세요 means to give me. 주 is to give. 세요 is just a nice formal thing that you'll hear at the end of a lot of words. 주세요. If someone's like walking around and they're holding water, they're a waitress and you want some, you can point to your cup and be like, 더 주세요. Just like, give me more. And it's okay to say, give me more. It's not like commanding and rude. You're nicely asking for more. You're not saying, may I please have money 주세요. 돈 is money. You say 돈 주세요 is a little like, just give me money. Usually you say 돈 좀 주세요. 좀 means like a bit. Give me a bit of money. 돈 좀, so D-O-N, 돈 좀, J-O-N, 돈 좀 주세요 is how you say that. It's like, give me a little, can I have a little money? All right, this one is the first one. A lot of you were confused by this one. This would be 더, which means more, 두, which could mean two. A lot of you got this one mixed up. This is 두 and nu. So when you saw nu, you were saying it's this one. What you'll notice is nu and tu, the letters look pretty similar. So let's do it with like an A. This is an N, and then you do the same letter and you go, and now it's a D. Na and ta. So what you'll notice if you go na, think of where your tongue is when you do that. Now go da, na, da, na, da, na, da. You'll notice your tongue doesn't move. It just separates to let air out. It is the same mouth position, like almost exactly the same. You just get a little more air, a little more roundness when you do the D, and you remove your tongue from like behind your teeth, that roof of your mouth faster, right? Na, ta, na, da, da, da. It's the same position. And that's why the letters look so similar. So the way the written language was made is literally to like group and categorize things based off of how they're pronounced physically. And that way, people who learned how to read and write later in life had an easier time remembering these things because there was some sort of logic behind the letter being shaped the way it was. So you could kind of, if you were taught like, oh, this is shaped this way because it's representing the, the tongue hitting the top of the mouth and blah, blah, it gives you a reasoning. So, because they find that it's really hard to teach people to become literate later in life. Whereas when you're taught young, it's this very natural thing. There's just a point in time where your brain develops enough and it's harder to get this memorized and to understand it a certain way. So yeah, it's just cool. It makes it a little bit easier to grasp. Something that's interesting about Korean that you'll learn later is they have 2 sets of numbers. They have 2 ways to say every single number. A lot of people know like 하나, 둘, 셋 for 1, 2, 3. There's also 1, 2, 3. And the reason why they have it is one for a generalized amount of something. The other one is specifically when you're counting. So if you're standing there and you're going, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, that's when you're sitting there and you're counting. Like, let's say you're doing a head count of kids. You're in a kindergarten class. And you're like, oh, are all 10 kids here? And you start going, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷. Like, you do it when you're counting out loud like that. And then, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's really just saying a number. It's like, it's just, how many of these? Or if they're saying, like, which one do you want? The first, the second, or the third one? And you want to say, I want the third one. 3번. 3 for 3, 번 the 1, like you're just designating that one. Which one do you want? 3번. Once you hear it in like 5 different scenarios, you do a little listening, it's really easy to understand like why they would do that. 1, 2, 3, first, second, third. It is a little like, yeah, saying like first, second, third, but not exactly. The use cases don't match that, so I wouldn't completely memorize it that way. Ooh, okay. We're gonna start to get into other vowels now. Yeah, it's right? It's the very normal and then they just add a second line. Yeah is something you should not say to people unless you're very close with them and you're given full permission to speak informally with them. And you're close enough that you could just be like, hey you, instead of saying someone's name. Yeah just means hey, as the best possible translation. When you say yeah to somebody, depending on how you say it, it can come off as pretty aggressive. It can also come off as playful. So it's super, super, super important to just not say this unless you are perfectly like your tone, your way that you're saying it sounds like, right? If someone smacks someone else and they're like, yeah, you know, they do that, like they're like, oh, hey, stop it, right? You could just say it like that, but that's, again, usually between friends. But if you're calling out to someone and you say, yeah, you're confrontational, like off the bat. So just don't say that to people. Just avoid it. Which one is yeah? Yeah, you guys got it right. It's one. So it's just if you're like friends, nobody cares. It's a comfort thing, but not everyone does it. Me, square. Mium is the letter me. Thanks, Mr. Duo. I can't believe they killed him. He's so cute. Which one is It's 4. I always forget this R symbol. Yeah, it looks like a fucked up S, so it's hard for people sometimes because their English-speaking brain is like backwards S. These are ya, pi, mi. That's a good word actually that has a r in it. Pi, mir. If you put this letter at the end, so you have a 3-part syllable, M-I-L essentially. Pimil. You know what pimil is? It's a secret. Pimil. Someone asks you a question and you want to say it's a secret. You say 비밀 and then 이에요, 이었어, it was a secret. 비밀이다, 이다 at the end would be like I'm speaking to someone the same age as me and I'm not speaking super formally. 이에요 is the standard, like mildly formal, can say it to anybody kind of conjugation. 비밀이에요 is a slow way to do it. 비밀이에요. So that's an example of how that sounds like an L. How do you say kimchi? Kimchi. So that K, we spell it with a K. We spell it like kimchi in English, but it's not written like that in Korean. So if you're writing it, you would do gim, and then chi would be like, I usually write it like this. Kimchi. Yeah, like a normal soft G. It's the normal kiok letter. You don't say kimchi because then you'd be writing this other letter, which would be like k, right? So if you have this and then you have this, you pronounce this one like ga. This you pronounce it like ka, like kaka. This is decidedly a K. This is like, they write it as a G, but it's not like a ga. It's not guttural and glottal. When we say the G sound, like GEEGA, right? Like my name, GEEGA, you're using the back of your tongue to say that G sound, ga, right? You feel the back of your tongue hit the top of your mouth, ga, 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 right? And you could like you could relax the front of your tongue and still say ga. When you're pronouncing this ka in Korean, ka, 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 it's similar, but you flatten your tongue out more, and the way the air passes through your mouth is just a little different. And getting that more sharp air sound is what makes this sound a little like a K to an English speaker. Because a lot of air coming out is ka, ka, that's a K, right? Does that make sense? It's just how your tongue is positioned when you do the accent. So it's like, if I was doing English, ga, 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 you hear ga, I go like, ooh, before I do it, right? Ga. And then Korean, ga. Nothing near my larynx or in my throat is tensing up when I do that. Whereas here, it kind of does a little bit preemptively. Ga, you're tensing like right where the bottom of your fleshy bit between your jawbone area meets your neck. That little right angle, if you have no weight on your body, that little right angle, right, between your throat, if you're looking at it from the side, and the bottom of your mouth. That little area, yeah, the upper gooch tenses up a little when you're doing like an English ga, but then when you're doing a Korean ka, it doesn't ka. It just doesn't. It's a little more forward in the mouth. I don't know how to describe it without like showing you x-rays of a person's mouth, but I hope that makes sense. Yeah, the throat. Your throat tenses up when you do it in English. Oh, we're getting into the compound vowels. Oh, it's not actually scary. There's like 2 of them. If you cover the line on the right, this looks like O. This looks like the letter for O. And then this one looks like the letter for E. Sometimes they throw 2 vowels right next to each other. They smash them together and it makes another sound. So the O and the E together, this makes E. And it's like an EH. It's just a plain E. If you're saying and in Italian, and now we go do this, E, right? EH. We just saw it, so we all know it's one. Se, che, pya. This is the new consonant they're putting in here for this lesson along with this one. This is shiot. It's an S. But oh my god, but you pronounce it like shiot. Why do you do that? This is the consonant that has the most nuance, and it's really not too bad. It's just remembering two things. Shiot, my beloved. When you put it in front of something, this is shi. Oh. And then when you put it at the end of a thing, oh, looks like a little man. Oh. It sounds like a T, but without the air afterward. Because if you're making an S sound, you go S. Imagine if you ended a word there, you go harness, but you don't do the hiss, you go harnet, right? If you got your mouth in position to say an S sound, but you did not do the hiss, you did not push air out, it would be a lot like ending on a T, right? So when you just cut off the air, right? You just stop the air in that position. That's really what this all means, right? If I have this ending thing in every single Korean syllable, this is the shape your mouth makes when you end. So when I end a sound and I have this S thing that sometimes is said like an S, sometimes said like an SH, depending on, that's just nuance. When it's at the end, you just stop the sound as if you're about to pronounce an S, but you're not pushing any air out. So the letter is called shiot. That's why it's like that. I know that's like a little weird. Saying I'm confused, you'll just get used to it as you practice it. It's one of those things that I could explain it 3 more times. You'll just get it as you go. So this is se. It's not se, which we'll learn after, which means like a bird. It's se. E, se, je, pya, che. Which one is che? Not che. Che. 3. Yep. The J is another example of just pronunciation. This is a Korean J. It sounds a little CHE, but it's not. Again, because they have less gutturalness and they use the back of their throat less to say words compared to English. It sounds like a little CH-like, but it's not. If you put a hat on it, you put another line, now it's a CH. Now it's ch. So cha means sleep. Cha versus cha, which means car. That's their J versus their CH. The difference between the two is just smaller. Here it is. Now you're gonna be like, what happened? It's the same as the other letter, but the nub's to the right. Or you might be like, that looks like an H, so I'm gonna say wrong. So the one we had before, the little vowel that we saw before, that was e, which was like just written as an E, and it's pronounced very much like E-H. Now we got this one. It's got A-E as the sound, okay? This is che. Now it's che. This is the one where I said it's like saying hey in English, hey, but you stop before you do the E part of the Y. So you go hey, you just go hey. So it's e versus e. Does that make sense? You can pronounce the two of them really similarly, and most people will kind of understand what you're saying, but it can get a little weird. Oh, we've added a new one. Okay, guys, well, we just did it. Which one is che? Which one is che? Yeah, it's 2. Right away, I'll tell you what these are. This is o, but it has 2 nubs, therefore it's yo. You'll see this at the end of a lot of writing because formal writing ends in yo a lot. Yo or seyo. Seyo. This also has the yo at the end, but we've got a new consonant. Now, when they put them together, this font attaches them. I hate that it does that because it made this look like something really confusing. This upper letter here is the same as this letter here. It's just a wide version and a slimmed down one because this is a top and bottom set of letters and this is a left and right set of letters. This is pyo. It's a P, that's all. This letter, imagine the B, pib, where it looks like a square with the top line lowered down a little bit. Imagine a pib. Now take it, put the side in instead. Does that make sense? I'll show you drawn. So we have M, mim, B. Instead of crossing off there, you go here. Then we have P. Depending on the font, it can be drawn a little differently, but for the most part, it's a line and then 2 lines. It almost looks like a yo. Okay, so a line, 2 lines. Sometimes they're in. When I'm handwriting, I do it like that. So imagine a box. Okay, you took a box and you took these sides and you moved them in a little. So you have this and then you have almost like a Roman numeral 2. But the thing is, to write it and to make it very clear, they always detach the top line. So you know what you're looking at? It's never like attached except in some computer fonts when you're getting fancy. It's a little confusing for English speakers when they're looking at it because a lot of people think it's like and then like yo, right? Like together. And people are like, what am I looking at? And I think the font that they're using here again makes this one a little confusing because this is literally the P letter and then the yo together. But as you can see on this one, it's a box. The top line's a little detached and the lines on the side are a little bit in. That's a P. All right. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Who in this lineup is pyo? Which do you think it is? People correcting themselves. Yeah, it's 3. It's 3. This, you were almost there. This is yo, but it's a circle, right? This letter is iung and it is just nothing, null. NG if it's at the end of a thing, no sound at all if it's at the beginning of a syllable. This one is yo again, but with the P in front. Pyo. So it's this one. Hard exercise. Me, where's me? Recap, remix. I see some zeros and I see some sixes. Which vowel is E between these two that you're stuck between? It's zero. Me. Similarly, E, whereas E, face-shaped tip is already paying dividends. If you can't figure it out, think about it logically, and you should be able to get it. It's very smartly designed. M, yeah, this is 6. M is a little box, little square. Right there. J, yeah. And then P, the one that people kept getting mixed up with me. P, little up looking square. Hugging, okay. P, 7. Me. Now you're seeing the difference. Now you're churning on it. You're cooking on it. 6. Yep. Let's go down here. Let's go to... Is that 8, 9, or 0? Yeah, you're trying to be preemptive, huh? Before I asked. Yeah, 0. Che. Wow, I wonder what this is. 1, 2, 3. Wow. They read it out. It's Che. Rip the burb. They still have him in here, though, so... I swear to God, if they actually take him out, I'm gonna be sad because I thought he was a good mascot. However, this could be the craziest marketing gimmick. Let's pretend we're killing off our mascot. People get real upset, and then they start opening Duolingo again. They're like, he's still there. Announce it, but don't actually take him out. Da. Da, 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 da. Which one is? 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 da. Which one is it? It's 1. Yeah, ra. Guys, it's ra. Ra. The other ones are cha, se, che. Who the hell is ru? And where is he? Yup, it's 3. Mi, ya, ru, bi. All right, cute. It's the one that's like a G, a kiok, but it has a little more air coming out because it's a K, so it's cute. Yup. Q, U, chu, K. Again, this letter is just weird. This vowel is weird. It looks like it should be ye, and it is when it's alone, but when you put a G in the front, a kiok, it turns into K. Same with an H in the front, it becomes he instead of hie or gie. It's just he, ge. Woo! Holy! Prove you're a legend. Extra hard challenge. I don't want your free trial. Get out of here. I am not going to claim to be an expert in this language. I learned by getting thrown in the deep end of a pool and learning my way out. It was not done very formally, so I'll just share what I do know. As best I can. But like, look it up. If I ever say, I'm not sure, but I think it's this, that means I'm not telling you I think it's definitely 100% that. I'm saying I think maybe, and there's a chance it might not be, so look it up, you know? Anyway, thank God this owl is still alive. I don't know how long he'll be alive, but at least we got to see him before they take him out back and murder him old yellow style. Old yellow? Old yeller style. Poor thing. Look at him. Look at how happy he is. Why would they do this?